Hello everyone. This video is intended mainly to institution like university, college, training department and companies, course providers, professional developers, or even teacher that are looking to increase their offering to students and pretty much have something in their offering that close the gap between what they offer in class and what they are encountering in real life. And for that, we're using simulation that are been built with AI, obviously. Things that we were looking to do over the many years that I've been teaching, trying to bring that aspect in. Now we can do it. And we have developed quite a bit of different platforms to help the actual transfer of knowledge related to complex subjects sometimes that are difficult to teach with spreadsheet or in class. And that's the idea of what we have. So let me walk you through the different type of product that we have derived from simulation, but they're not all simulation. And see how also you can integrate that with your LMS if you have one, or pretty much offering it as a standalone. So let's get into the different category. Keep in mind for each category, there is a video, complete video that explains what it is and how it works, and we go through some example, etc. But we're not going to do it there. We're just going to go quickly to what are the different platforms. So let's start with the first one, which is the simulation platform, mainly in project management, but also we could simulate other area, such as supply chain, for example. And on this area, what we have is a platform where you could pretty much pick different type of industry that you would like to either work or you are working in order for you to validate your knowledge or develop your skill or practice pretty much a project in these environments, go beyond what's written, but actually put it into the context. So if you're looking at the platform here, there's already many type of projects there. There's our different industries. So the first one is Apex. It's called that because it's a mixture of all kind of project addressing for the project managers that are not necessarily doing one type of project. They might be doing marketing. They could do supply chain, and then they could do something in IT. So again, this is a mixture project. You have entertainment, which is projects like live events, shows, video games. Construction, like building construction, renovations, etc. IT, of course, IT, you have the development of platform, but also you have also the infrastructure, cloud-based, all kind of project there, automotive industry, banking industry, project marketing industry, and supply chain. In each of these ones, you will have a different type of project. So if I go, for example, I pick entertainment, you will have 3 projects that you could pick. And the projects are either in predictive mode or agile/iterative mode. And so you could practice in these areas. And there's different level. Some of them are easy or for beginners. Some of them are experts. Some of them are, average. So again, I'm not going to get into the detail of these ones. There is a video just on that, and we're going through a sample project. We're doing it. We're doing the whole simulation until the end. So again, you can consult the other video for that. The second type of platform is live case study. Okay, in live case study, what we are looking at is to, instead of just having a case study that is based on something written, we go beyond that and we place the student in a mode of trying it with the information they're getting it. So let's take a look at this one. So for example, we have one here, which is the case study for building a portfolio. Building a portfolio is very difficult to build that in Excel spreadsheet in a classroom. So you need to go beyond. You need to be able to do many things. So in this case here, if we're looking, you would have the process of identifying the initial opportunity. And in the case that we're giving you, you decide, is it for grow your portfolio? Is it to protect what you have already? And you will have projects that are already secure, that are already committed and locked in terms of capacity. You would have new initiatives that are coming at you in order to decide, do we add them? Do we prioritize them? And this is my available pool of resource that I have and different key of answers that I need to answer, but using the simulation. And I go through the simulation to the step. I would do the triage. I will do the charter of each one. I will score them, but define what are the criteria, strategic criteria we're going to use to score them. And it's all based on the case. Then what resource I will need, looking at my capacity. Do I have the capacity to do that? Do an analysis. What are my available resources? Can I add more? And then recommendation, we call it gate zero. Basically, which one you should start, which one you have to wait, either because they're not scoring very high, they're not high very much, not enough on your strategic goals, or you just don't have the resource to do it, okay? So again, this is the process that you're going through. So you're really going through what we do when we build basically a portfolio. So first decision, is this opportunity coming at us? Is this a project? Is this an operation? Then we decide by answering quick questions, and the AI is helping us to decide. Once we got that, this is the portfolio that we have. We have 6. Which one's got the charter bill? And let's take a look. Do we have the charter, the business information, the scope, the stakeholder, risk, everything that needs to be there? So we do have that. You see these projects are scored. So they're already in my portfolio. Okay, so I know I've got the resource and they're connected to my goal. Now, there is other projects that are not scoring, or they are there, but they're not yet in a situation where we could decide to go with, or the score is really low, and well, they might not be, in our top 2 secure in terms of analysis. So again, it's another example. Prioritization, your organization, what your resource do you have available, what is your allocation of your resource, and then what are your capacity? Do you have any problem per month? Overall capacity over the time, and then recommendation in terms of which one we could do, which one we have to stop, etc. So again, you're going through the whole real life scenario when we do that, okay? So that's another platform. We also have in the live case study, we have also a platform, case like governance, where we're submitting you let's take a look, submitting you here a charter that is developed by a project manager. And then based on the charter, also here, this is their project plan with all the section, who are the stakeholder, the requirement, the scope, is schedule, the quality, the risks, your communication, procurement, resource, so the whole 9 yards. And based on that, you have to place yourself as the governance, decide, do I approve that or not? Okay. Now this is obvious. There are certain problem with that you need to identify. So our students are looking at that and try to find out if they would sign on this thing and let it go, or maybe return it to the project manager because there's certain problems. And of course, there are 3 main issues between the project plan and the project charter that the project manager needs to know. So again, it's a live case study. It's not a simulation, but it allows the student to really practice what it is, but also from a governance perspective, learning how to detect if it's a properly planned project versus the original charter. So that was an example of another live case study. The third platform we have is called competition. And in this platform, the big difference versus the BizSim that you had for project management, where you are developing your competency of pretty much planning a project and then executing your project, as you go and adapting to change. In competition, now you are developing a product and you are placing it into the market versus other competitors. And the other competitors are AI, obviously. Sometimes they're pretty good, sometimes they're pretty bad, and allow you to test certain of your knowledge that you have acquired in your course. So, of course, for us, we're going to be using the marketing platform because the marketing allow you to really compete in different ways, and success will be measured in different ways. You will be receiving your objective per simulation, and you will have to try to beat or meet what you're getting as objective. Maybe it's going to be to have profitability. Maybe it's going to be for brand building into a market. Maybe it will be in terms of volume sales of a certain product to kill the competition. So again, there'll be different type of objective that you will have, and based on that, you will have to make decision. And decision related to what? Well, if you are in the marketing, we have the 4P, right? You have to decide on your pricing. What kind of product also you're developing, because you're going to design your product. Are you going to make it high end, meaning it's going to cost quite a bit, but you're going to sell at a higher price and do some better margins? But the pricing might put you in low volume, or very cheap product, try to get a lot of volume there. Also, you're going to have to make decisions regarding your promotion. Are you going to use traditional media or more like social media? Are you going to place sales directly, or you're going to use distributor? Again, we're not going to make it easy. We're going to give you a different market, right? So again, you will test your price, your product, your promotion, your positioning. All of this will be there, and every week you're making decision and you're reviewing your results, and your results are financials, our market performance, our consumer perception on your product, etc. So let's take a look at what it looks like a bit. Again, okay, we have a video on this one that you could review the entire platform, review the entire game. I'm not going to do that here. I'm just going to share with you the type of simulation that you could do. So of course, there are different levels. We have beginners, intermediate, and two advanced. The beginner is the launch of a phone. You develop a phone and you launch it. The second one is kind of an Apple Watch, if you want, a wearable with edge watch. Third one is a laptop. And the fourth one is virtual reality glasses. So again, you start the simulation and you are faced with decisions to make, and based on your decision, you have the results, and you review your results, and you have a coach, an AI coach that is there to help you analyze the results that you have, and tell you, here's what I see right now in terms of your weaknesses, your strength, what I think you could do, but also you could decide, hey, I'm going to put some of my money to monitor what my competition are doing. Like, for example, your AI competitor, what are they doing? Well, why is this guy is doing so good? So again, it's all there, and it's fun to do. It's not easy. Of course, the beginner, it's probably the easiest one, but as soon you get into the other one, it's not easy. And the fourth platform is the gaming platform. And on this one, what we do is we bring together all the different tools that we have developed using simulations type. So we start with a live case where we are giving you a show to produce as the overall project that you will be doing. Now here's the thing. We're going to have you going to each phase, following the life cycle of a typical project. Initiation, planning. In this case, because it's a show, we will do a pre-production phase. Then the production, which will be a simulation of everything you have done, and then an operation and marketing phase, which is going to be the competition of your show versus other shows. So that's the idea. And for example, for the first phase, the initiation phase, you will receive a briefing, and that briefing will tell you this is the concept that you're going to have to put together. You're also going to engage with stakeholders to find out what are your constraints. Basically, what do I have to work with in terms of time, in terms of cost, what level of compliance do I need with the final concept? A real case scenario that we do when we do live shows, touring shows. So you'll talk to the stakeholder, you will lock in your project charter that will be submitted to the committee. There will be a gate review, a real gate review. And the committee will be reviewing what you have. They'll be looking at and they'll give you some feedback. If you have covered and you understand very well the intent of the investment in this show, then they will give you the okay. You could go into planning. If not, then they'll send you back with some feedback in terms of what you should, picked up as part of your charter. Once you've done your charter, you move into planning. Into planning, you build a project management plan. Now, we're going to give you some reference from past project, because sometimes it could be difficult, especially if you're new. Reference from past project, saying this is how they did the requirement, the scope. So I give you an idea, and obviously the reference is not exactly the same, but give you a lot of information that you could pretty much accept as is and move on. Once you've done your project management plans, it's the same thing. You move to the next gate and you submit that to the committee, and the committee review your project management plan versus the charter, give you feedback. If your project management plan is good enough, they are letting you go, and now you can start the pre-production phase. And then the pre-production phase, which is specific to live shows, you will be basically building what we call the production Bible, which is how many casts you're going to have, what kind of cast you're going to be versus the concept you have to do. Also, what's going to be the production budget versus the project budget that you had in the previous phase. So again, it needs to fit. You will also discuss in terms of timing, in terms of production. Usually a production, you do that using an agile type of environment versus an overall predictive environment for the overall project. So again, you're playing with these notions in the production Bible. Once your production Bible is good enough, get submit, but not to the entire committee, because at one point the committee has given you the green light to do it, but to the artistic director, the creative content vice president, so the people that knows, about the content, and they will give you feedback and tell you, yeah, you're ready to move into production, which is your next phase. Production is going to be a simulation. Like we do on BizSim, you will simulate a project, making your decision, and you're going to have problem, etc. Once you've completed that, there will be a gate review reviewing the production. Are we ready to move into the market operation and basically having the show being sold to the public? If it is established, yeah, it's good enough, let's go, let's start selling this, then now you're getting into a simulation, a competition simulation of marketing. So that's the kind of thing we do. So you're going really to all the phase, you're doing end-to-end, and it's really good. So let's just take a look quickly of what we're talking of this. So again, when you start, you will be deciding what style you want to lead this project, and let's say I'm going as a commander. I might receive my briefing from Leo. Leo is the VP of Creative Content. And there's a full video here that you could play to tell you, this is the concept and things like that. Keep in mind, we have one video dedicated, okay, about explaining the whole game, okay? And you could see it, I'm attaching it there, where you're going to go through all the phase and everything. So I'm not going to do here looking at all these videos. I'm going to go straight at showing you the different phase. Let's skip Leo. Your first thing, you build your charter. You need to start interviewing people. And to interview your people, you will go, click. First one is a CEO. Will ask you, what will you need from me? So bottom line, what the opportunity justify in this investment. I need it for the charter. So you want to capture from the CEO. So now he's got different answer. And depending on the answer, some of the answers are too generic and some are more specific. So let's say we lock in this one, lock his answer. and immediately goes into the charter. So we do that with all the stakeholder. We built in, once we have it, we submit to gate 0, and there you go, you have your meetings there. Once you're ready, you move to planning. Now in the planning, you're having an interview, or at least you're having a briefing with your lead backer, the sponsor, tells you what expect to see from the project plan, give you a briefing, you can review that, you continue. Here's an example of what we've done in the past with the Sirena project, and give you some ideas in terms of schedule, budget, etc. So you don't start with a green sheet. You start with information already from past projects that are similar. So you could actually build a project with some information. In terms of requirements, people will give you some requirement. I could talk to each one and say, this is what I want. You could lock in their requirement, etc. Then you could build your scope. Based on the requirements, the scope will adjust. You could also adopt it immediately. You could have a schedule that is based on your scope. You could adjust it. You could add different things. So again, you go and you build a project plan. Once you submit it, you are ready for your production Bible, which is the actual building of how you're going to build the show itself versus the overall project that's got a lot more than just the production. In the production Bible, what we need to do is to finalize a concept, casting, and act, selecting that, do the production budget, which is a subset of the overall project budget. A production schedule, again, a subset of the overall. So again, you have a lot of information. You could ask also your coach, and you build that. Once you're ready, you can move into the next phase, which is the production. And then the production is a simulation of everything you have decided. And so your production Bible gets and project plan gets thrown into a simulation, and now we're simulating you building the show. Okay, and you continue like this, and etc. So I'm not going to do the entire one. Like I said, there are video that explain the overall concept of the game, how to play it. So I suggest that you review that. But definitely the gaming is a way for us to bring everything together in an environment that is really cool. Also, because we can recreate so much of the actual situation that you will encounter. Lastly, I want to share with you how you could integrate all of these simulation into your LMS if you're using an LMS. And here's an example of how I do it in my classes. I will insert a workshop which would set the stage with the briefing. So for example, this is an example of a live case study, and this is for the one that we reviewed, that is the governance. And you pretty much, your role is as an executive steering committee, you need to make decision. So we're giving them the hurdle, we're giving them the task, their deliverables, and note on the exercise. They click on the link and they get access to the actual simulation, or in this case is the live case tool. And so they could proceed to it, whether it's this one, which is the governance on the charter versus the project plan, or the portfolio management, or others. It allows them to do that. So very easily, you just integrate with the content. You create the page that set the stage, and then with a link, they go get access to it. You could place a password check if you want. I mean, it's very easy to access the password check. In certain case, you could create teams. So that means instead of just doing the live case, especially the portfolio, they could do it as a team. So for example, you would have a team of 3. They pick a name. So with that name, you give them a password, and only that team with that password can see what they're doing. So again, integration with the LMS is very easy, very simple. If you are an institution, you might not want to have it outside your server. You might want to have it, inside within your own firewall and things like that. So it's very easy if you're using Microsoft to take all the codes, put it on Azure. We do that very fast, with the database and everything. And then after that, it's part of the signing on to their account. They have access to the case. Or you could make it as a standalone platform where students can register, even you could sell it if you want as a complement, or you could integrate it as part of a course that you're selling. If you have self-directed course where people, well, you could integrate and give them access to a simulation to practice to. So this is what we have. Again, each one of these platforms got a separate video that goes in detail. So if you're interested by one in particular, you could go and check.